Please make sure to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified about our future videos. To the questions. Question 1. A company is running and managing its own Docker environment on Amazon EC2 instances. The company wants an alternative to help manage cluster size, scheduling, and environment maintenance. Which AWS service meets these requirements? The correct option is C. AWS Fargate. C is the correct answer. AWS Fargate is a serverless, pay-as-you-go compute engine that lets you focus on building applications without managing servers. AWS Fargate is compatible with both Amazon Elastic Container Service and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service. Question 2. Which option is a perspective that includes foundational capabilities of the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework? The correct option is C. Governance. C is the correct answer. The 6 AWS CAF perspectives are business, people, governance, platform, security, and operations. Question 3. A company wants to manage deployed IT services and govern its infrastructure as code templates. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? The correct option is B. AWS Service Catalog. AWS Service Catalog is correct. AWS Service Catalog lets you centrally manage your cloud resources to achieve governance at scale of your infrastructure as code templates written in CloudFormation or Terraform configurations. Question 4. Which AWS service or tool helps user visualize, understand, and manage spending and usage over time? The correct option is C. AWS Cost Explorer. C. AWS Cost Explorer is correct. AWS Cost Explorer has an easy-to-use interface that lets you visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs and usage over time. Question 5. A company is using a central data platform to manage multiple types of data for its customers. The company wants to use AWS services to discover, transform, and visualize the data. Which combination of AWS services should the company use to meet these requirements? The correct options are A and D, that is AWS Glue and Amazon QuickSight. The answer is AD. AWS Glue is a serverless data integration service that makes it easier to discover, prepare, move, and integrate data from multiple sources for analytics, machine learning, and application development. Amazon QuickSight powers data-driven organizations with unified business intelligence at hyperscale. With QuickSight, all users can meet varying analytic needs from the same source of truth through modern interactive dashboards, paginated reports, embedded analytics, and natural language queries. Question 6. A global company wants to migrate its third-party applications to the AWS cloud. The company wants help from a global team of experts to complete the migration faster and more reliably in accordance with AWS internal best practices. Which AWS service or resource will meet these requirements? The correct option is B. AWS Professional Services. The correct answer is B. The AWS Professional Services organization is a global team of experts that can help you realize your desired business outcomes when using the AWS cloud. We work together with your team and your chosen member of the AWS partner network to execute your enterprise cloud computing initiatives. Question 7. A developer wants to deploy an application quickly on AWS without manually creating the required resources. Which AWS service will meet these requirements? The correct option is B. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Deploy scalable web applications in minutes without the complexity of provisioning and managing underlying infrastructure. Question 8. An e-learning platform needs to run an application for 2 months each year. The application will be deployed on Amazon EC2 instances. Any application downtime during those 2 months must be avoided. Which EC2 purchasing option will meet these requirements most cost effectively? The correct option is D. On-demand instances. On-demand instances are recommended for users that prefer the low cost and flexibility of EC2 without any upfront payment or long-term commitment. Applications with short-term, spiky, or unpredictable workloads that cannot be interrupted. Applications being developed or tested on EC2 for the first time. Question 9. An online gaming company needs to choose a purchasing option to run its Amazon EC2 instances for 1 year. The web traffic is consistent and any increases in traffic are predictable. The EC2 instances must be online and available without any disruption. Which EC2 instance purchasing option will meet these requirements most cost effectively? The correct option is B. Reserved instances. The correct answer is B. Amazon EC2 reserved instances provide a significant discount compared to on-demand pricing and provide a capacity reservation when used in a specific availability zone. Question 10. Which pillar of the AWS well-architected framework refers to the ability of a system to recover from infrastructure or service disruptions and dynamically acquire computing resources to meet demand? The correct option is B. Reliability. The reliability pillar focuses on workloads performing their intended functions and how to recover quickly from failure to meet demands. Key topics include distributed system design, recovery planning, and adapting to changing requirements. Question 11. Which component of the AWS global infrastructure is made up of one or more discrete data centers that have redundant power, networking, and connectivity? The correct option is B. Availability zones. An availability zone can be made of one or multiple data centers. An AWS region has at least 3 availability zones that are separated by multiple kilometers. Then a region has at least 3 data centers. Question 12. A company wants to review its monthly costs of using Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS for the past year. Which AWS service or tool provides this information? The correct option is B. Cost Explorer. After you enable Cost Explorer, AWS prepares the data about your costs for the current month and the last 12 months, and then calculates the forecast for the next 12 months. The current month's data is available for viewing in about 24 hours. The rest of your data takes a few days longer. Cost Explorer updates your cost data at least once every 24 hours. Question 13. Which AWS services or features provide disaster recovery solutions for Amazon EC2 instances? The correct option is B and C, that is EC2 Amazon Machine Images and Amazon Elastic Block Store snapshots. You can back up Amazon EC2 instances used by your workload as Amazon Machine Images. The AMI is created from snapshots of your instances, root volume, and any other EBS volumes attached to your instances. You can use this AMI to launch a restored version of the EC2 instance. Question 14. A company is planning to replace its physical on-premises compute servers with AWS serverless compute servers. The company wants to be able to take advantage of advanced technologies quickly after the migration. Which pillar of the AWS well-architected framework does this plan represent? The correct option is B. Performance efficiency. The performance efficiency pillar focuses on the efficient use of computing resources to meet requirements and how to maintain efficiency as demand changes and technologies evolve. Question 15. Which AWS service or feature allows users to connect with and deploy AWS services programmatically? The correct option is D. AWS software development kits. Code pipeline is not necessarily used for deploying AWS services. It is a DevOps service that offers CI/CD that allows you to deploy code changes to a set code base given your team or company's release cycle. The correct answer is D. Question 16. Which AWS service provides the ability to manage infrastructure as code? The correct option is D. AWS CloudFormation. The correct answer is AWS CloudFormation. It lets you model, provision, and manage AWS and third-party resources by treating infrastructure as code. Question 17. A company wants to migrate its workloads to AWS, but it lacks expertise in AWS cloud computing. Which AWS service or feature will help the company with its migration? The correct option is D. AWS Managed Services. AWS consulting partners are professional services firms but not AWS service or feature. Question 18. Which documentation does AWS Artifact provide? The correct option is B. AWS ISO certifications. B is correct. Here is the description. AWS Artifact provides on-demand downloads of AWS security and compliance documents such as AWS ISO certifications, payment card industry, and service organization control reports. Question 19. Which of the following are components of an AWS site-to-site VPN connection? The correct options are B and D, that is virtual private gateway and customer gateway. The VPC has an attached virtual private gateway, and your on-premises network includes a customer gateway device which you must configure to enable the site-to-site VPN connection. You set up the routing so that any traffic from the VPC bound for your network is routed to the virtual private gateway. Question 20. A company needs to establish a connection between two VPCs. The VPCs are located in two different AWS regions. The company wants to use this existing infrastructure of the VPCs for this connection. Which AWS service or feature can be used to establish this connection? The correct option is B. VPC peering. A VPC pairing connection is a networking connection between two VPCs that enables you to route traffic between them using private IPv4 addresses or IPv6 addresses. Question 21. According to the AWS shared responsibility model, what responsibility does a customer have when using Amazon RDS to host a database? The correct option is A. Manage connections to the database. Amazon RDS encrypts your databases using keys you manage with the AWS Key Management Service. On a database instance running with Amazon RDS encryption, data stored at rest in the underlying storage is encrypted, as are its automated backups, read replicas, and snapshots. Amazon RDS encryption uses the industry standard AES 256 encryption algorithm to encrypt your data on the server that hosts your Amazon RDS instance. Question 22. How does the AWS cloud pricing model differ from the traditional on-premises storage pricing model? The correct option is B. There are no infrastructure operating costs. B is correct because in AWS you pay for storage, compute, etc. You don't pay for infra ops directly. On the other hand, you can make commitments with saving plans or reserved instances. Question 23. A company's on-premises application deployment cycle was 3 to 4 weeks. After migrating to the AWS cloud, the company can deploy the application in 2 to 3 days. Which benefit has this company experienced by moving to the AWS cloud? The correct option is C. Agility. The answer is C. This is the definition of agility as per AWS. Increased speed and agility. In a cloud computing environment, new IT resources are only a click away, which means that you reduce the time to make those resources available. To your developers from weeks to just minutes. This results in a dramatic increase in agility for the organization since the cost and time it takes to experiment and develop is significantly lower. Question 24. A company has designed its AWS cloud infrastructure to run its workloads effectively. The company also has protocols in place to continuously improve supporting processes. Which pillar of the AWS well-architected framework does this scenario represent? The correct option is D. Operational excellence. The operational excellence pillar includes the ability to support development and run workloads effectively, gain insight into their operations, and to continuously improve supporting processes, and procedures to deliver business value. Question 25. A global media company uses AWS organizations to manage multiple AWS accounts. Which AWS service or feature can the company use to limit the access to AWS services for member accounts? The correct option is B. Service control policies. Answer is B. You can use SCPs to allow or deny access to AWS services for individual AWS accounts with AWS organizations, member accounts, or for groups of accounts within an organizational unit. Question 26. A company is launching an e-commerce application that must always be available. The application will run on Amazon EC2 instances continuously for the next 12 months. What is the most cost-effective instance purchasing option that meets these requirements? The correct option is B. Savings plan. Amazon EC2 savings plans enable you to reduce your computer costs by committing to a consistent amount of compute usage for a 1 year or 3 year term. This results in savings of up to 72% over on-demand instance costs. Any usage up to the commitment is charged at the discounted savings plan rate. Any usage beyond the commitment is charged at regular on-demand instance rates. Question 27. A company plans to create a data lake that uses Amazon S3. Which factor will have the most effect on cost? The correct option is A. The selection of S3 storage tiers. The most effect on cost transferring the data is going to be a set cost. There is not really multiple options to affect the price of transferring. Which storage tier they pick out of all the options can largely affect the final cost. Question 28. A company is storing sensitive customer data in an Amazon S3 bucket. The company wants to protect the data from accidental deletion or overwriting. Which S3 feature should the company use to meet these requirements? The correct option is B. S3 versioning. S3 versioning is correct. Versioning enabled buckets can help you recover objects from accidental deletion or overwrite. Question 29. A company has a centralized group of users with large file storage requirements that have exceeded the space available on premises. The company wants to extend its file storage capabilities for this group while retaining the performance benefit of sharing content locally. What is the most operationally efficient AWS solution for this scenario? The correct option is B. Configure and deploy an AWS storage gateway file gateway. Connect each user's workstation to the file gateway. B is correct. AWS storage gateway. Connect on premises with AWS S3 file gateway, one of the AWS storage gateways interface. Question 30. Which option is a customer responsibility when using Amazon DynamoDB under the AWS shared responsibility model? The correct option is C. Access to DynamoDB tables. Access to DynamoDB tables. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, controlling and managing access to AWS services, including Amazon DynamoDB tables, is a customer responsibility, while AWS takes care of the physical infrastructure, patching, and encryption of data at rest in DynamoDB. Customers are responsible for setting up proper access controls, authentication, and authorization to protect their data and resources. Question 31. A company wants to run a NoSQL database on Amazon EC2 instances. Which task is the responsibility of AWS in this scenario? The correct option is C. Patch the physical infrastructure that hosts the EC2 instances. A is incorrect because when we set up an instance of EC2, we choose the operating system. B is incorrect because we are configuring and running the database on the EC2 instances, so that would be our responsibility. D is incorrect because the firewall rules are our job. C is correct because the physical infrastructure where the EC2 instances run is Amazon's responsibility. Question 32. A company has deployed applications on Amazon EC2 instances. The company needs to assess application vulnerabilities and must identify infrastructure deployments that do not meet best practices. Which AWS service can the company use to meet these requirements? The correct option is B. Amazon Inspector. Amazon Inspector is an automated vulnerability management service that helps improve the security and compliance of applications deployed on AWS. Amazon Inspector automatically assesses applications for exposure, vulnerabilities, and deviations from best practices. After performing an assessment, Amazon Inspector produces a detailed list of security findings prioritized by level of severity. Question 33. Which of the following are benefits of using AWS Trusted Advisor? Choose 2. The correct options are C and D, that is, detecting underutilized resources to save costs and improving security by proactively monitoring the AWS environment. C and D are correct. Benefit of Trusted Advisor: cost optimization. Trusted Advisor can help you save cost with actionable recommendations by analyzing usage, configuration, and spend. Performance: Trusted Advisor can help improve the performance of your services with actionable recommendations by analyzing usage and configuration. Security: Trusted Advisor can help improve the security of your AWS environment by suggesting foundational security best practices curated by security experts. Fault tolerance: Trusted Advisor can help improve the reliability of your services. Service quotas: Service quotas are the maximum number of service resources that you can create in an AWS account. Question 34. According to security best practices, how should an Amazon EC2 instance be given access to an Amazon S3 bucket? The correct option is C. Have the EC2 instance assume a role to obtain the privileges to upload the file. Question 35. A company plans to use an Amazon Snowball Edge device to transfer files to the AWS cloud. Which activities related to a Snowball Edge device are available to the company at no cost? The correct options are C. The transfer of data from the Snowball Edge appliance into Amazon S3. Question 36. Which AWS services or tools can identify right sizing opportunities for Amazon EC2 instances? The correct options are A. AWS Cost Explorer and AWS Compute Optimizer. Question 37. Which of the following is an advantage that users experience when they move on premises workloads to the AWS cloud? The correct option is A. Elimination of expenses for running and maintaining data centers. Question 38. Which AWS service or feature can a company use to determine which business unit is using specific AWS resources? The correct option is A. Cost allocation tags. Question 39. A company has a single Amazon EC2 instance. The company wants to adopt a highly available architecture. What can the company do to meet this requirement? The correct option is B. Scale horizontally across multiple availability zones. Question 40. A company wants to run production workloads on AWS. The company needs concierge service, a designated AWS technical account manager, and technical support that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Which AWS support plan will meet these requirements? The correct option is B. AWS Enterprise Support.